scariest. It didn't happen.
Why has nobody been to the moon since children?
That's not an 8-year-old's question. That's my question. I want to know what I think I know. Because we didn't go there.
Hi, Steve here. What if the biggest headlines of the last year, the wild storms, the political chaos, the financial crisis, were all just smoke and mirrors? What if, while we were all busy looking one way, the real fight was happening right over our heads and deep under our feet? Not to even mention that for over 15 years, the world looked away while Christians in Nigeria were slaughtered. The numbers tell the story of a widespread killing campaign. Over 50,000 Christians murdered by Islamist extremists since 2009. This year alone, at least 7,000 have been killed, averaging 35 deaths a day. Another 7,800 were kidnapped in just the first 7 months of 2025. More Christians are killed for their faith in Nigeria than in the rest of the world combined. Xi Jinping's communist China ramps up its war to eliminate Christianity, according to this headline. This isn't just about a few random events. It's about connecting the dots between things that aren't supposed to be connected. We're told to trust the official story, that the past is settled and the future is anyone's guess. But what if the people at the very top know exactly what's coming? Because they have a hand in it. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on 3 of the biggest deceptions of our time. First, the secret war for our climate, where weather itself has been turned into a weapon. Second, the celestial mystery hanging over us every single night, a puzzle so deep it makes you question reality itself.
10 proofs that the Earth is flat. Time zones. Neighboring regions with the same sun position often have very different local times. This looks more like an artificial system created for a flat map, not for a spinning globe. The horizon is always flat. Even at high altitudes, the horizon looks perfectly flat and always rises to eye level instead of curving away as it should on a sphere. Water always seeks a level surface. Oceans and seas don't stick to a ball. Water naturally lies flat. Billions of tons of water clinging to a spinning sphere seems impossible. Rockets and outer space. If Earth is flying through space at tens of kilometers per second, with the sun and galaxy moving even faster, rockets leaving Earth shouldn't be able to catch up with it later. Yet they always return right back, as if Earth were motionless. Photos of Earth don't match. Official Earth photos from space change in colors, sizes of continents, and even cloud patterns. To some, this suggests digital creations, not real images. Airplane routes. Certain direct flights seem illogical on a globe, but make perfect straight lines on a flat Earth map. Sun and moon are the same size. Is it just a coincidence that the sun and moon appear almost exactly the same size in our sky? On the globe model, that's an incredible cosmic accident. On the flat Earth dome model, it makes sense. Antarctica as a barrier. Antarctica may not be a continent, but an endless ice wall holding in the oceans. No one has ever crossed it in a straight line and come out the other side. No sense of rotation. If Earth spins at 1,600 kilometers per hour at the equator, we should feel it. But water in a glass stays still. Planes take off and land without adjusting for a spinning surface. Everything feels motionless. Stars never change. Constellations look the same for thousands of years. But if Earth and the solar system were really hurtling through space, the stars should slowly shift, yet they don't.
And finally, the escape plan. The real reason the global elite are spending billions and have been spending to disappear underground. This is the story of weather warfare, a fake moon landing, and billionaire bunkers. And it's happening right now. Not to mention the cover-up of the most public assassination since John Fitzgerald Kennedy.
I just wanted to share with you guys that if you are in this area, or really anywhere in any of these areas, you guys are getting completely pounded. A Christmas special, if you will. Look at all these lines. Let's watch these guys move. Also, this is collecting in your fog. I'm hearing a ton of really, really scary stories about people getting, besides the stuff I normally hear with this kind of thing, like heart palpitations, vertigo, things like that. I'm hearing straight up anaphylaxis, eyes swelling, eyes burning, throat burning, nose burning. For people that are, typically don't get allergic reactions, they haven't had a history of any. But look at this. Look at all these lines. Let's start here on the 22nd, 1250 UTC. You can convert that to your time zone. See all these black lines? Aircraft. Those aren't natural, and they just keep going and going and going. They spread out, they collect into the cloud layer, and they drop as precipitation. There are thousands and thousands of trails. I wish I could say this is abnormal. It is not. Not for the US. For the rest of the world, yeah, it is abnormal. But the US is an overachiever when it comes to trails. There's no other place on earth that does it like this. How do I know? Because I watch every day. And I can say it because I watch it every freaking day. I know where these things are. They're in Europe every day too, but not like this. They're in Canada every day, but not like this. The rest of the world, no, you don't see them every day. Not even close. Yep. And out of every country in the world, the US is the most abnormal as far as temperature is concerned. Yeah, look at this. This area is extremely warm compared to how it should normally be. Besides Iceland and the United States, there is no other area with this. I mean, the amount of landmass that is abnormal is ridiculous. Yeah, so anyway, I want to show you this. Be cautious outside. Keep your AQI in mind. Check it regularly if it's really bad outside. Personally, I turn off my exterior air intake on my house. If you've got a new house, it's sucking in all this air, basically unfiltered. So you can stay inside all you want, but 30 minutes of every hour you're breathing in that outdoor air. Alrighty then, I'll update you if I see anything else. If I don't see anything else worth mentioning, have a Merry Christmas, and I'll see you on my website, arianamasters.com.
Let's start with something that's not a theory. In the 1960s, the U.S. government ran Project Storm Fury, an open attempt to weaken hurricanes by seeding them with silver iodide. During the Vietnam War, Operation Popeye was used to extend the monsoon season over the Ho Chi Minh Trail, with the military's own slogan being, "Make mud, not war." These aren't secrets, they're history. The official story is that these projects fizzled out. Project Storm Fury was shut down in 1983, with scientists concluding that the seeding techniques just didn't work as hoped. We're told the chapter on weather warfare is closed. Fast forward to 1996. The U.S. Air Force published a research paper called Weather as a Force Multiplier, Owning the Weather in 2025. It wasn't a technical blueprint, but it laid out a strategic vision. It openly discussed ideas like storm intensification and inducing drought for a military edge, concluding that the tremendous military capabilities are ignored at our own peril, unquote. That year, 2025 isn't some distant future anymore. We're here. Now look at the world around you. Record-breaking droughts in one place, unprecedented floods in another, hurricanes that explode from a tropical storm to a Category 5 monster in just hours, defying the models. All the while, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration states clearly that no technology exists that can strengthen or steer hurricanes in any way, shape, or form. Unquote. We know that's just not true. And what about HAARP? The High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program in Alaska is officially for studying the ionosphere, the upper layer of our atmosphere. Scientists say the energy it emits can influence the troposphere, where our weather actually happens. But the facility can blast nearly 3.6 megawatts of power into one of the most sensitive parts of our atmosphere. Is it really crazy to wonder what side effects that could have? The technology for weather modification isn't standing still. The World Meteorological Organization has noted that by late 2025, AI and drones are making cloud seeding for things like inducing rain more precise than ever. The science is advancing. So the questions remain, who is using it and why? If you can influence rainfall, can you also prevent it? If you can do that, then extreme weather stops looking like a random tragedy. It starts looking like a tactic. If controlling storms is on the table, a power hidden from public view, you have to ask, what else aren't they telling us?
The Charlie Kirk assassination, for instance. There are various stages that society goes through as far as the narrative is concerned. You could almost compare it to the stages of grief, I guess. But in this case, it's the stages of narrative construction and narrative acceptance. Immediately after an event like one of these, you get the first dump of information and stories and explanation, and that's when the narrative construction phase begins. You get a bunch of talking heads and government types getting in front of all of these cameras and telling you that within moments of the crime occurring or the suspect being apprehended, they knew everything that there was to know about that situation. They've got it all under control. And during that period of time, a lot of people will, of course, come up with their own independent theories or look through other people's theories online because they don't believe their government. And that period usually lasts for several days, maybe a week or so, as the finalized version of the official narrative gets ironed out and as certain aspects of reality that may contradict that narrative are just erased from history and memory hold. And then starts the stage of narrative acceptance, which could also be translated into narrative enforcement. People are told that the official narrative is airtight. It's a 6,000,000% matter of historical and scientific and even religious fact. And if you question it, you're a crackpot, maybe even a threat to public safety. And that's when our occupied, illegitimate, pedophilic government tells us they've got it all figured out. Stop asking questions. Let the professionals handle this. Jeffrey Epstein. Go back to your cubicle, goy. That's basically what they're telling you. And unfortunately, most people fall for that. But I don't. And I know that most of you in the audience don't either. And that's why I have continued looking into the truth behind this Charlie Kirk assassination, because I know that the narrative of Tyler Robinson climbing up onto that rooftop and shooting Charlie Kirk in the throat with a .30-06, along with everything else we're told happened before, during, and after that, is completely and totally fake and gay. And we've been through all of the ways that the Tyler Robinson narrative is fake. And we've already proven that beyond a reasonable doubt. And so now I'm going to show you what actually happened, step by step. Tyler Robinson didn't kill Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk's Israeli security detail killed Charlie Kirk, and Charlie Kirk's assassin is caught on tape. Blake Bednar has brought us this video. We'll break it down. Take a look at this. Here it is from the wide angle. Watch Charlie Kirk's right side of his t-shirt. Watch the lavalier lapel mic. Do you see it explode? Let's bring it in just a little bit closer. Watch this. Put it in a freeze frame. That is the explosion from Charlie Kirk's lavalier lapel mic. Want to see it again? Bring it in closer. Remember when we told you that that was absolutely an exit wound? Yeah, it is. Check the trajectory of the round that was deployed from that lavalier lapel mic. That went directly from Charlie Kirk's lapel. That went directly from underneath Charlie Kirk's white t-shirt up through his neck and created the exit wound that we told you was an exit wound immediately when we saw that exit wound. First we had exploding pagers, now we have exploding mics. Do you remember the vector analysis from John Bray? That proves that all of the activity came from the mic that Charlie Kirk was wearing. Remember the palm gun guy in the brown shirt, that shadowy looking guy with the sunglasses? Yeah, he pushes the detonator. Clear as day.
Gang violence. Great.
That's the assassin. That's the guy that pushes the detonator, which perfectly aligns with the explosion that pushes that projectile through Charlie's right side of his neck and out the left side, creating the exit wound. That might just look like the chaos that you would expect after someone was publicly executed in broad daylight in front of 3,000 people. But in no way did that trigger man, that assassin in the brown shirt with the sunglasses, act alone. We have video now from Destiny that shows the handoff of this remote detonator. We had John Cullen on the program last week, and he made a great point about ballistic acoustics being altered to hide the location of the real shooter. Well, the same can be said to distract from the fact that there was no shooter. Tyler Robinson did not kill Charlie Kirk. This guy, brown shirt guy, he's the assassin.
Oh, way. If you want security, the Israelis know what they're doing.
There it is. There it is, right there on video for the entire world to see. The truth hidden in plain sight. Just like so many of these other assassinations and terror attacks of the past 80 years. And you know what else this situation has in common with these other assassinations and so-called terror attacks? The perpetrators. Charlie Kirk was assassinated by the very same group of demons that killed JFK and carried out 9/11 and did so much more in between and since the illegitimate homosexual pedophilic nation state of Israel. Israel just assassinated, just murdered, executed an American citizen in broad daylight on video in front of a live audience of thousands of college students. And now our own fake and gay government is finishing the job for them by covering it up. Just like they always do, every single time. It's obvious what happened here. Israel killed Charlie Kirk with an exploding microphone, just like they killed a bunch of Arabs with exploding pagers. And just like with JFK, just like with 9/11, they're relying on all of us trusting and believing our government and the Jews on the news to get away with it. Ryan Matta has been looking into this quite possibly more than anyone else. He's got video after video after video searching for the truth behind the Charlie Kirk assassination, and he joins us now. Ryan, you've just seen what I've shown you. Your take.
That was what me and you were debating.
There's just no question at all whatsoever that you see an incendiary explosion. You see the incendiary smoke. There's no question. You can't deny it. And then you see the exit wound, which is what was so profusely bleeding. And originally I said, that's an exit wound.
And, you know, every sniper, every person that was saying that he was wearing a bulletproof vest, and there was a lot of people that went through that video and they go, he is 100% wearing a bulletproof vest because his body reacts before the hole, right? Something causes his body to, like, you know, basically almost go into shock. And then all of a sudden it's like a half a millisecond later, you see the hole in his neck. Everybody was thinking that he got hit in the bulletproof vest. That's what caused him to recoil like that. And then it ricocheted up into the neck. That's what we were thinking. But then his wife comes out and says, nope, 100%. I begged Charlie to wear a vest. He told me that he trusted his security team.
I don't know. Let's talk about the behavior of the security team afterwards, because there's a lot of people saying, well, he was just throwing the keys. That's what he was doing. He was grabbing the keys. He was handing off the keys to the SUV so they could get Charlie. No, the driver has the keys. Why would the guy over there have the keys? Look at the body language of the guy that actually pushed this remote detonator. He wasn't surprised. He didn't act like a regular human being and duck or, you know, act surprised or shocked. He didn't recoil or jerk in any way at all whatsoever when he heard that explosion. Why? Well, because he was anticipating it. Because he was delivering that blow. That's the only explanation. And these guys didn't act alone. You saw in tandem at the same time, simultaneously, what do these guys do? They don't jump over in a state of panic and check to see if Charlie Kirk is okay. Instead, they go for his lavalier mic. It looked like a gang of niggers, you know, like mugging a guy who's dying on the street. Nigga, get that chain. They literally were mugging Charlie. One guy pushed him down. Okay, you know, people are saying, look, he actually pushed him down. Well, I can see a security detail or Secret Service pushing down, you know, the principal that they're protecting to get them out of the way of more rounds, more gunfire, you know, anything else that might be coming that they're unaware of. That's your job. Your job is to push them down and lay on top of them, you know, until you can extract them. These people didn't act surprised at all. They acted like they had a plan. They knew exactly what they needed to do. They went for the lavalier microphone or whatever was left of it. They handed it off to each other. They handed off the remote detonator, and then they walked away and ran away. Some of them walked, some of them ran. They left Charlie Kirk there. They had completed their job. They had completed their task. They had fulfilled what they were there for, and Charlie Kirk was dead. If you truly were trying to find out who killed Charlie Kirk, if you truly were looking for the truth, that would have been disseminated immediately on the internet.
Hey, Erica, what about the guys you dated before Charlie?
I was here for 5 years. I never dated here because I saw vicariously through my roommate how terrible it was.
You were proposed to by Charlie in 2020. You started dating him in 2018. And 3 years before that, you were dating this guy, Tyler Massey. I mean, you guys would do couples photo shoots. This is still online. And this is only 3 years before you started dating Charlie.
He's in heaven.
Yeah, and 2 years later, you were dating this guy, Cabot Phillips, and here he is posting you guys on his public page saying, yes, we're that couple who gets painting lessons together. Again, this is a year before you started dating Charlie, and well within the 5-year period you claim to have never dated anyone, but you were out here dissing your roommate for dating.
I always thought it was very strange how she would go to drinks with one guy and then go to dinner with another. Somehow getting drinks was the replacement of having coffee and breakfast. I personally would rather have coffee or brunch with someone than go. I don't drink. I find it unproductive.
And why are you here drinking and dating on a reality show that actually was filmed the year you met Charlie? So you obviously were dating. So I'm not understanding your timeline. I mean, you're talking to a guy here who's asking you out on a date and you're taking his number? And here you are on your date.
I've honestly spent the majority of my life being one of the most sought after bachelors. Oh, great. But I'm just really excited to spend some one-on-one time with Erica. I really do like her, and I'm excited to get to know her a little bit more.
Erica? Hello? I just want to understand how you so confidently lied to our faces when this footage was on national television, and you know the footage is out there. The pictures of your boyfriends that you dated are still public online, and you know that, but you still lie like this.
Stop.
Wait, isn't Cabot Phillips your ex-boyfriend? Why is he now the speaker of Turning Point USA? Leading speeches of how to lead like Charlie. What's going on, Erica?
Stop.
He's also the senior editor for the Daily Wire, the one outlet that your husband was having active beef with at the time, connected to Netanyahu. So
stop.
Right. So what else are you lying about? Because you're a liar. Point blank period. You're a liar. And we just proved that. So this is still publicly accessible on social media. And you lied about that. You also lied about dating, but you were on a reality show dating the same year you met Jesse. You know what I mean? What else are you lying about? Like bigger things? Are you lying about bigger things? Because this is small and you really easily with like a straight face, you lie. So like, what, cause sure.
Stop.
So let me get this straight. Charlie Kirk had no coroner's report, no church funeral, no burial site or grave, no official death certificate. Why has no official autopsy been conducted, nor any findings released? No ballistics report. Not a single eyewitness on the record, and an award-winning widow already taking over his show. Why was the entire crime scene destroyed within hours, erasing vital evidence? They tore down everything, including the Dairy Queen. Why were there no paramedics on the scene? Why was Charlie Kirk's body removed and illegally flown out on Air Force Two? Why did Donald Trump pardon a Navy SEAL killer whose shadow looms over this case? Why was the stadium mysteriously booked by Turning Point 4 months before his death? How was a massive high-tech stadium memorial produced in only 11 days? Why do multiple women publicly appear as Erica Kirk, raising questions of identity? Why are there no birth certificates for their children? No names revealed, no faces ever shown? Where is a video of Charlie playing with his kids at a birthday party, or picnic, or any other family setting? Why do Freemasonic and satanic symbols surround this tragedy with chilling precision? Interesting that the gun was found on property owned by Palantir. Isn't it interesting Kash Patel fired many of the heads of the FBI in that area days before the shooting? Do you find it interesting that Charlie sold his house 8 months ago for $5 million? If the father of your 2 young children was just brutally murdered for the world to see days ago, do you leave them home with the nanny while you go on podcasts grinning from ear to ear? Is it not curious that a 17-year-old first-time Donald Trump beauty pageant contestant won, and now Trump appointed a top attorney general woman who has no experience who is also in his beauty pageant? This is only a fraction of the clues and evidence on this psyop. For those of you brave enough to look at the evidence while removing the preconceived emotions, the conclusion is undeniable.
Why would anyone go to all this trouble? Why a secret war over weather? Why a possible deception on a cosmic scale? What are they preparing for? The answer isn't a theory. It's being built with concrete and steel deep underground. The world's wealthiest people are getting ready for something big.
Something strange is happening in Silicon Valley. The AI executives who were everywhere just months ago, podcasts, conferences, press tours, are suddenly going quiet. And according to Imad Mustak, former CEO of Stability AI, it's not a coincidence.
I know a lot of AI CEOs now who've cancelled all public appearances.
Mustak revealed on a recent podcast.
They think that that's going to be the next wave of anti-AI sentiment next year.
Why? Because 2026 is the year AI goes from not good enough to good enough overnight. This isn't paranoia, it's preparation. Ilya Sutskever, OpenAI co-founder, we're definitely going to build a bunker before we release AGI. Sam Altman owns underground concrete reinforced basements, which, let's be honest, are bunkers. Mark Zuckerberg, 1,400-acre compound in Hawaii, construction since 2014. These aren't weekend getaways. These are safe havens for when the machines get smarter than us, or when society turns against those who built them. If you're in the AI bubble, you might not see it, but step outside and the hatred is visceral. F AI in any creative field, go F yourself. Why is everything AI? It looks horrible. Pure, unadulterated evil. These tweets have thousands of likes, millions of impressions. This isn't fringe anger, it's mainstream fury. McDonald's releases an AI Christmas ad, public meltdown, Google pushes AI features, mass backlash. Every AI announcement now triggers a wave of resentment. Here's what the billionaires know that most people don't. AI could eliminate nearly 100 million jobs in the U.S. over the next decade, according to a Senate report. Goldman Sachs data already shows employment contracting in sectors where AI is replacing humans. Entry-level law work, document review, administrative coordination, junior consulting roles, financial analysis, content creation. These aren't just jobs. They're the ladder rungs people use to climb into the middle class, and AI is sawing through them. Mustak's prediction is chilling. Every single company will be asking, do I need that human and all the liabilities that come with them when I can hire an AI at pennies that never complains, that gets the work done at a better level, and I can't tell it's not a human on the other side of the screen? The answer for millions of positions will be no. The Anthropic CEO laid it out clearly. We could get a much bigger economic pie, but it could be concentrated in far fewer hands. Some people might not get any. That's not a future scenario. That's 2026 to 2027. When you combine massive job displacement, 3 to 5 years, existing public hatred of AI, wealth concentration at unprecedented levels, no clear transition plan from governments, you get a recipe for social unrest unlike anything we've seen. This is why AI CEOs are vanishing from public view. They see what's coming. Phase 1 now, growing resentment and backlash. Phase 2, 2026 to 2027, mass job losses become undeniable. Phase 3, 2027 plus, social fracture and potential violence. They're not building bunkers because AGI will destroy humanity. They're building them because humans might target those who built AGI. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Every expert in AI has underestimated it. The people saying AI will only have a modest impact on employment are the same people who said ChatGPT was years away in 2022. They were wrong then. They're probably wrong now. AI isn't just good at tasks anymore. It's becoming good enough to replace humans at scale. And when that happens, when millions realize their jobs are gone and not coming back, where does that rage go? I'm not fear-mongering. I'm pattern recognizing. Billionaires building escape routes. CEOs canceling public appearances. Public sentiment at historic lows. Job data showing early warning signs. No serious government response. The AI revolution isn't just about technology. It's about what happens to society when the machines arrive and the jobs disappear. And the people who built those machines, they're already planning their exit. The question isn't whether the backlash is coming. The question is, are we ready for what happens when it does?
Reid Hoffman, The co-founder of LinkedIn estimated that over half of Silicon Valley's billionaires have bought some form of apocalypse insurance or underground shelter. And we're not talking about old school fallout shelters. These are underground mansions. Companies like Vivos are building multi-million-dollar communities designed to survive almost anything. Nuclear war, pandemics, total societal collapse. How about Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg? On the Hawaiian island of Kauai, he built a $270 million compound with its own energy and food sources. At its center is a 5,000 square foot underground bunker with a blast-resistant door. The entire project is guarded by strict NDAs. Peter Thiel, another tech billionaire, secured a passport from New Zealand, a popular doomsday escape destination for the super rich. Author Douglas Rushkoff shared a story about being invited to a secret resort to speak to 5 ultra-wealthy men. They didn't care about the future of technology. They wanted to know about the event, their pet name for the end of the world as we know it. Their biggest question was, how do I maintain authority over my security force after the event? These aren't just people worried about a random disaster. Their actions suggest they're preparing for something they see as inevitable. They're playing a game, and they already know the end game. This is where you have to start asking if the threads connect. You have documented government ambitions to control the weather. You have cosmic-level mysteries that keep our eyes turned to the sky. And finally, you have the people with the most power building escape hatches. The billionaires aren't just prepping for a world that might fall apart. They're preparing for the consequences of the systems they helped create. We've looked at the evidence. The declassified government programs that aim to control weather, even if they were officially deemed ineffective, the Air Force's own vision paper for owning the weather in 2025, we have the seismic data from the Apollo missions showing a moon landing that rang like a bell for hours, and we have the very real, very expensive bunkers being built by the world's most powerful people. The official story treats these as disconnected dots, that weather warfare is old news. The moon landing being faked are just quacks and conspiracy theorists, and billionaires are just eccentric. But what if they're not? What if you draw a line connecting them, a controlled demolition of our world, while the architects get ready to watch from their underground lifeboats? The question isn't whether the elite have a backup plan. The question is, what happens to the rest of us when they finally decide to close the blast door? There's more they don't want you to know. Subscribe and hit the bell on YouTube to keep connecting the dots with us. And let us know in the comments which part of this story you think runs the deepest. Now, I want to just say to you who don't know or don't have a personal relationship with the living God, Yeshua, Jesus the Christ. Because there's 2 things that are the most important to me. Getting the truth out to you and warning you of what's coming and what the Bible tells us is coming. And number 2, that you're ready for eternity. If you don't have a personal relationship with the living God, Jesus the Christ, Yeshua, the Mashiach, you are not ready to face eternity. Because the moment you step out of this body, this shell that we're in, that we call a human body, and your spirit and soul leave, you're entering eternity, just like that. It doesn't matter whether you believe me or not, it's true. It only matters that you believe the testimony that was given by the Son of the living God when he walked this earth over 2,000 years ago. If you don't know Jesus and you don't know what to pray, I leave a link in the description box below. Go down there in that box, click on that link, and you'll see a link that will take you to a page with a simple prayer. If you want the living God to be the Lord of your life, and you're tired of this world, and you are willing to repent of your sin and turn, go down there and click on that link. It will be the best decision you could make in this entire life. Think about it.